let's create a new project in IntelliJ IDEA, and we will include the TestNG dependency in that. Let me create a new project, and I'm going to give a name for the project, TestNG study. It's a Maven project, and selected the JDK, the latest version, the time of recording, and I'm gonna leave this add sample code as unchecked. I don't want any sample code to be added. Let's click create button. There you go. Now we have our project, and we got pom.xml file. So now here we need to add TestNG. We have to add the dependencies, right? So let's include the dependency tag, and we need to have TestNG dependency under this. So let's look for the TestNG dependency. I'm gonna Google and find out the TestNG dependency. Okay, so let us search for TestNG Maven dependency. Let's go to MVN repository site, and let's take the latest version of the dependency. Let's copy this, and let's paste it into IntelliJ here. All right, now let's update the project with the load the Maven changes so that the dependency will be downloaded into our machine. All right, so we got the dependency now. And now let's go into src and test. So all the testing related files will be added under the test package in Maven. And the test Java, I'm gonna add a new package. Okay, so this is gonna be ca.qaguru. Okay, so whenever you give this package name, the root package name, it's gonna be like your company name, website URL will be used, right? So you'll be using, if it is like qaguru.ca, then you will be using ca.qaguru. If it's like company.com, then you will be using like com.company, right? So this is gonna be my root package, and under this I want to add a test, right? So I'm gonna create another package, test. So I'm gonna add all the test classes under this test package. Now assume that it's a online shopping application, so you're gonna have some tests related to purchase, right? The customers are doing some purchase, so there are gonna be some test cases related to the purchase. So let's create a class file, Java class, and let's give a proper name, maybe purchase test. Okay, so we'll be having all the purchase related tests in this class. So I'm gonna add a class, I'm gonna add a test method here. Okay, public void purchase test1. Assume that this is gonna be a method, a test method for a purchase scenario. Okay, so for the time being, since we are focusing on TestNG and not on test automation, then let's have some dummy methods here, and I'm gonna print something like purchase test1 here. So let's have a purchase test with a print statement, purchase test1. Okay, there's a typo, let me correct it. All right, so now how do I make this as a test? Now this is just a method, purchase test. I have to make it a test method. So how can I do that? So I'm gonna annotate this method with @test. So when I annotate this, it has become a test method. Now I can execute this method. So even without a main method, you will be able to execute this method using TestNG annotation @test. Now this method has become a test method. So now there is IntelliJ is showing a run button here. Let's click this and run it so that you will get result here. See, purchase test is printed, so it's from the println statement here. So now we included one test method and we have executed it. So TestNG is helping us to execute this method or a test. Now let's have some more tests. I'm going to add 2 more tests. I'm naming this one as test 2 and let's print purchase test 2. Let's have one more method, purchase test 3, and let's print purchase test 3. And let us make the newly added test methods also tests by annotating them with @test. So you can see the moment that I annotate them with @test, you can see a new test button added here, right? So now we have 3 test methods available now in this class. So how do you execute all of these tests together? If you just want to execute one particular test, you can execute it by clicking this run button, which is adjacent to this test method. But if you want to execute all of these tests together, then there is a run button adjacent to this class declaration line, right? So here you can click this one and you can run all the tests under purchase tests. Just select this one so that all 3 tests were executed. And you can see the tick marks here, which means all these tests are passed. Okay, because we are not checking anything, right? So you can get the print statement results here, right? It's printing purchase test 1, purchase test 2, and purchase test 3. So all these test methods are executed here. Now, what if I need to execute something, maybe some initialization steps before each of these test methods? So in that case, TestNG gives us an option for that. It gives an annotation @before test. You can create a method and you can annotate it with @before test so that that particular method will be executed before executing each of these test methods. So let's have a method for that. Public void. I'm gonna name it as before test. You can give any name for this. This name doesn't matter. What really matters is the annotation. So I'm gonna name it as, annotate it with @before method. Okay. So let's, for the time being, let's write some, maybe something to print. So let's have s out, and let's name it as, let's print something like before method. All right. So this method will be executed before executing each of these test methods. Before executing purchase test 1, this will be executed. And then before executing purchase test 2, again, this will be executed. And it will continue like that. Okay, so let us execute it and let's see the result. I'm going to execute all the tests under this purchase class. So here you can see the order of execution. See, before method is executed first, right? So you can see that from the print statement, before method. And you can see purchase test 1 from the first test method. Sorry, from here, right? Purchase test 1. And then again, before method is executed. Let me zoom it a bit. Yeah. And then purchase test 2 is executed. Again, before method is executed, and purchase test 3 is executed. So that means before executing each of the method, @before method will be executed. That is the use of that. So what if you need to execute something after each of the test method? After each of the test method, right? So for that, TestNG provides another annotation @after method. So let's create a method and annotate it with @after method. Okay, let me copy this. Let us make it very quick. And let's rename this method as after method. Let's print after method. And I'm going to annotate it with after method. Okay, so this method will be executed after executing each of these test methods. Let's run it and see. I'm going to run all the tests. Now let's look at the result. Okay, so let me zoom it a bit. Yeah, so here you can see before method is executed first, then purchase test 1 executed, and after that after method is executed. This print statement, it's from the after test, right? After method. So I'm gonna rename this as after method so that it will be sort of uniform naming. Okay, let's rename it as after method just for the uniform naming. Okay, so let me execute it once again. All right, so we have before method executed first, and then purchase test 1 executed, and then after method executed, again before method executed, before purchase test 1, 2, and the purchase test 2 executed, then after method executed, right? And then again before method is executed, purchase test 3 is executed, and after method is executed. Okay, so we have learned 3 annotations. @test is for making one particular method as a test within TestNG, and after it before method is to annotate a particular method which will be executed before executing each of the test methods. And after method, when you annotate a method with after method, that particular method will be executed after executing each of the test methods.